today we are going to be painting a really fun tropical leaf, and this is great because you're just going to make the same shape over and over with your brush. I am working with a greeting card, so it already has the little fold line down it, but we're going to be working tall today. So if you're working on just a regular piece of paper, just tape around the edges of your paper and tape tall. If you've got a card, the first thing I'm going to do is half and half on this seam. So this is just going to create a border. And then half on, half off around the rest of the borders on the side we're working on. And I am using washi tape. So this is a tape that releases very easily from our paper. If you don't have washi tape, you can use artist tape, painter's tape, drafting tape. If it's a very sticky tape, run it over cotton t-shirt or a dusty surface first so it's not so sticky. It'll release from your paper more easily. All right, so I'm using this 8-color palette. So this is just the regular 8 colors, and we're going to mix a few colors because what we want to do is get started with a very watery color, and then we can add other colors as we go. So I'm going to add a lot of blue. Where'd my water go? There it is. All right. So I want a nice amount of blue. I'm just going to add it to this water because we also want it to be watered down. Sometimes if we paint straight out of this, the paint can be very gummy and it's not quite watery enough for us to do what we want. So we're gonna, that's why we're making this large puddle over here. And this will end up being kind of a blue-green color. All right, so I've got a lot of blue in it. And I'm just gonna add some more water. We'll need a lot of it. And then let's add some green. So we'll have this large well over here of a nice kind of a tealy, foresty green color. But this is how we work with this 8-color palette. If we want some colors that we don't have, we just mix them over here. This is going to be like a leafy palm. So if you'd rather make it in colors that match your decor or things that are your favorite color, you can do that. You don't have to use the same color that I'm using. So I think I want mine to be bluer, so I'm going to add a little blue. You can see how this is nice and watery. We don't want it to be too thick. I want it to be very watery, very loose. All right, so now I've got this lovely, it's kind of a blue-green color. And I'm just also gonna get my purple paint wet. And then my green paint is already wet. Maybe let's get yellow wet a little bit too. All right, so for when we start, the first thing you're gonna do is I'm gonna go into purple. So this is purple, you can see. And I just want you to make a line, and I really want you to commit and just use the tip of this brush, and you're just going like up. And as you get toward the end, you want to pick up so you have a spiky edge at the edge of your brush. And then we are going to start just adding leaves with this light wash. And what I want you to do is start, you're going to touch here, and it's okay if the colors run, but you're going to go very tip of the brush, get really broad, and then lift like that. And you're going to do that all the way down. So very tip, smash, and lift. Very tip, smash, and lift. And you can see they don't have to be the same. They can be completely different shaped leaves. That's fine. I'm going to add a little more of this purple to some of them because that is gorgeous. All right, and we are, depending on where you are here, you can do some on the other side. So even though we can't see that other side, I'm just gonna keep pretending like we can, because this is gonna look really nice at the end. All right, so we're gonna keep doing the same thing. So tip of the brush, smush, and lift. And like that one didn't have a lot of paint in the brush, so I can go back and dab paint in there, but you need to do it immediately while it's wet. Same thing, tip of the brush, smash, and then lift. And then we can go back and add more paint. As our leaves get bigger, we need a little more paint than our brush can hold at one time, kind of. Okay, same thing. Then smush and come up. So your arm might not be used to this motion yet. You might still be getting used to it. That's okay. This is a great practice for just getting this kind of stroke down. So thin and smush. Thin and smush. Come up. And you can see how we're getting this lovely play between the two colors, and that's exactly what we want. Start over here this time, so thin and smush. And it's okay to go off over that tape. We're just going to remove it at the end. So thin and smush, and it's okay if you hit the other one. I hit that one there, it's fine. Thin and smush and come up. And I'm starting in the middle of this stem because I want some of that purple coming with me. All right, so thin and smush and come up. When I go left, it doesn't make the same shape as when I go right, so I had to fill it in a little tiny bit there. So I'm getting my brush good and full, and I'm starting little, I'm smushing down, and I'm coming up. And as I get toward the center, I'm going to start making these a little shorter. So now we can start seeing the end of these. That's nice. So thin and smush down and come up. And it might take you a while to get this motion down, and that's okay. So thin, smush, and pull up. And as you pull up, you're still pulling that brush. Then smush and come up. And if you don't like the shape, just pull it out, but try to keep that edge very wispy. So thin and smush and come up. Oh, I am just not as good this way as I am the other way. So thin and smush and come up. See, mine just keep getting this weird little shape to them. But when you're pulling out that point, just pull and lift. And it might be something you have to learn to do over time. That's absolutely all right. All right, thin and smush and come up. Then smush and come up. There we go. I'm getting a little bit better at it as I go along. So thin and smush and come up. My dog is barking for us in the background. So thin and smush and come to that point. You can dip some of that color back in there if you want more. If you want more color, you can always put it in there, as long as your paint is still wet. When your paint dries, then you're just putting another blob on top of it. All right. We're getting really close to the end. I need to move my water bowl there. So thin, tip, smush, and come up. Then smush and come up. Ah, that one was terrible. But I'm going to salvage it. There we go. Then smush and to a point. And then smush and to a point. Kind of trying to draw them toward the top. So then smush, point, then smush, point. We are almost to the very top. So we just have some tiny ones here. So just a little smush. And then I'm gonna put one on the end. So there we go. And now you have some decisions to make. You can throw some speckles on here. You can run, I think I'm gonna run another color up the center. So I'm just gonna follow this line just to give it a little more dimension. And I'm trying not to go over. I just wanna stay in the same place I already painted that line. But now it's all connected. I just want to make it waterier. So that is absolutely beautiful, and it can stand 100% on its own if you'd like it to, or you can put some speckles on it, which I like to do always. So I'm going to go in with yellow, and I want my bright clean yellow. I think this is going to make a really interesting mixture. So I'm going to like throw this watery wet paint on. It's going to make little speckly dots. And where my paint is dry, it's going to make dots. Where my paint is wet, it's going to kind of blend in. So my brush is full. I'm going to tap from up above. So I'm just tapping these little spots right on. And it'll take you a minute to figure out how to aim your brush and how much to load your brush to get the right size speckles that you like. But I just want to give it a little bit of added interest. I'm doing this and I'm seeing that this yellow is fun, but it's not quite enough. So let's see. What else can we do? We've got purple, we've got blue. I might do some just plain blue speckles. So I'm gonna mix blue with water. And you can see it's not real dark. It's still translucent. We can still see that white tray beneath. I'm gonna come on and throw some more little speckles. Yeah, I like that way that looks. I'll put some more blue. I like a lot of speckles. Now this is really a personal preference. You might not like a lot of speckles. You might be like, these just make my painting look yucky and dirty. They are not for me. You should stop speckling, or don't speckle in the first place. I like a great deal of color, so I think I'm even gonna go in with some red. To make it look a little more like confetti, and because red's a good time. Ooh, or maybe I'll mix red with yellow. We'll get like a bright orangey speckle. Kind of a coral, salmon. What else could we call it? Like a lobster red. Ooh, I like that contrast. That's nice. And you can see the speckles are getting kind of all over my desk. The reason I'm not worried is this is watercolor and it's gonna wipe up really easily. So what's gonna be cool is when I remove this tape, we're gonna have this really great like background. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm gonna let it dry for just a moment, or maybe I'll fan it. I'm gonna fan it with the envelope. I want this to get nice and dry. It's an easy day over here. All right, so mainly what I'm looking for here is I want to make sure before I take this tape off that watery parts like right here are dry. Over here is okay, up here is fine. There's nothing watery touching the outside, but I really do want to make sure that this bottom part gets dry. If you have a hair dryer, you can grab it and the hair dryer will help you. I have a little quick dryer I'm going to use. This is a little embossing gun. It's just a low heat, low wind, little kind of a miniature hair dryer. There are people who do stamp art and things like that, but it's going to dry my paint quickly so that I can peel this tape and show you what it looks like at the end. And I'm just looking for anywhere that's still shiny. All right, so now we can peel the tape. And I'm going to keep a pencil handy to sign my name on this awesome piece of art. So peel back and at an angle like this. And hopefully we won't tear your paper. Sometimes your paper tears, and that is just the way of the world. That's all right. And I did get speckles on the side here, but that's just a bonus for whoever receives this card. They're just going to get some extra speckles. All right, so my paper tore there, so what I'm going to do is start from the other direction because I wasn't tearing back at the good angle like I needed to. There we go. So now we're done, and we're going to sign just so that everybody knows who did this. And there we go, we're good. If you just haven't gotten enough and you want to paint a little bit more, you can also decorate the envelope in a similar way. Now you don't want to use as much water when you're doing the envelope. So I'm going to go back to my speckle water. So this is my envelope, and I'm just going to make a small leaf on the side. So that way, whoever I send this to is going to be like, oh my gosh, what a lovely envelope. I wonder what's inside. And then I'm just going to make the same little leaves. They're not as great. They're not as vibrant, but that's okay. This is just envelope decoration. And I'm going to flip it around to go the other way. Now we have a cute little envelope. You could even do another one if you want. Maybe I'll do a purple one. You can even speckle if you want to. Let's do it. Grab some of this color and speckle that envelope too. Just going to town. There we go, and now our envelope's decorated and adorable. Ta-da! Alright, so here is my dried and folded cards. You can see it folds over and we can write a nice little message inside. Now you can stop here, or if you want to, you can go ahead and you can add detail to these leaves with a fine tip brush. Or if you have a micron pen or like a fine tip Sharpie, you can go over and add detail to these leaves with something like that. So this is all up to you. You don't have to be done, or you can be done. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. We'll see. Thanks for painting with me.